Enjoy. The current trailer is unbelievable, and it was created by our friend God-sSs-END, who's with us right now. God-sSs-END, welcome, bro.
Hey man, what's going on? So glad to be on the show here today, man. I just love you guys, and this is just a fantastic opportunity for everybody, man. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to express these feelings I have. My God.
Well, brother, man, I've got your logo on the screen right now. We just made that appear. And let me assure you, brother, the content you've been creating for the community is the first of its kind, and rightfully so. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to check you out after this broadcast. Thank God. So I would like to just get you to tell us a little bit about yourself and start there.
Yeah, sure, man. Hey, bottom line, I've been playing games for a long time, but the World War II games are really just my favorite, and I didn't even know that until I hit college. But as soon as I saw Day of Defeat, that just kind of blew me away. But I've been playing since I was a kid. I was basically baptized by Atari. I think I was like, what, 3 years old when Atari came out, and the people that were sitting for us just dropped us in front of that thing, and I just took off from there. It was like this little racing game, and that was it for me. Kind of got into coding a little bit after that with a Commodore 64. No tape drive, by the way. You actually had to follow a book and then just type in all your code. And instead of, you couldn't change the games back then. You actually had this static mat that would stick to the TV. And if you wanted to play Pong, you just stuck it there. And if you wanted to play hockey, you peeled it off and then you put another one on. But it was all the same code, all the same ball, all the same paddle sliding up and down. It was ridiculous. But man, let me tell you something. That was state of the art. This stuff we got going on today is just mind blowing. And I tried to take a break from it, but you know what? Gaming is deep inside my soul, and there was no getting away from it for too long. So here I am again, blowing all kinds of hours. And you'll have to forgive me if I'm a little off today because I am exhausted because I in this hell let loose vortex where I'm not sure exactly what time of day it is or what day it is or shit. What year is it?
Well, it's 1943.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I can see how much hard work you put into it. The whole community can. How did you get into Hell Let Loose?
Oh, Hell Let Loose. Actually, dude, I was following Hell Let Loose pretty much from the beginning. I wasn't a Kickstarter, unfortunately. I did really want to do it. Some of the perks that they had on there were just kind of like sweet, but I was a little hesitant because I was locked into that Battlefield box for a while, and for me, that was the game, and I was just kind of waiting for this one to open up. And I didn't want a repeat of what had happened to me back with Day of Defeat Source. When Day of Defeat Source came out, that basically blew my college career. I went from like great grades to, yeah, I think we're just going to be able to get you out of here, Dave. So, oh shit, I just gave away my name. Hey, but forget my last there. But anyway, I got into it as soon as they dropped the price and went early access. I kind of couldn't resist, so I picked it up, and I haven't looked back, man. I have not looked back.
So you mentioned you couldn't resist getting the game. What are some things that you like about the game?
World War II, bottom line. I don't know if you guys will remember how the History Channel used to be, but back in the day, History Channel was just all World War II. And I would get home from school and I would just sit there and just watch World War II. I don't know. I think I over romanticized the time period or just had that whole like battle glory syndrome thing. But Hell Let Loose is an opportunity to live it. And so when I saw the graphics and I saw the team play and I heard the way that the guys were talking to each other, I was sold before I realized I was sold.
You know, the game has so much to it. You're absolutely right. When you look at like a well-organized squad playing together and communicating, and listening to their strategies, knowing that they're, experienced on the battlefield, it's exciting to see different mindsets at work. It's like watching a group of I don't even know, experts, take over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, too. One of the things that I like best is when you get that squad cohesion and things are just kind of happening organically. That's almost it's I'd hate to use the word, but it's almost special in a way. But one of the ways that I like to describe it is professional. And I will tell guys that I'm like, guys, you know what, you really made this a great game for me. Your level of professionalism is mind blowing. It's like, okay, now how does that happen? How does that happen with a group of strangers from all around the world where they can get into a server like this, or just a game generally, and then somehow come together and operate at that level? Uh, it's just unbelievable. And you know what? I mean, if there's one thing that you can really appreciate about Hell Let Loose is the fact that they give us an opportunity to do that. And it just goes to show you what we are all really looking for, because this is where it's one of those things where they say that good luck is preparation meets opportunity. Well, we're the preparation, Hell Let Loose is the opportunity, and this is all our good luck. It's really just unbelievable. So I'm with you on that 100%.
How are you feeling about the new update? What are some things that you've noticed or are enjoying?
Oh man, there's too much to say about the new update. It's just, I mean, the first thing that I noticed when I hit the ground in Omaha was just the graphics. I mean, the devs went all the way with this, and I don't know, man. Any misconceptions or grievances or gripes I might have had before were basically obliterated. I mean, this is the atom bomb of maps, and the only thing I can tell you is that I am so excited to see what's coming down the road. But really, I mean, the sounds were different, and so much better, and that was a real surprise. I thought they were already amazing, and I played through a headset. I got a really nice headset. Oh, sorry about. Oh, what happened? Okay. but um, but yeah, the sound effects are just so much better. The visuals are just so much better. I love the blur. I can't actually get enough of it. I just hope that they upgraded the other maps, because unfortunately, between you and me, I haven't been back because I've been Omaha bound ever since. I will get back there because I've been doing some testing in some of the other ones, but I just haven't noticed because I've been kind of like, just I don't know. I'm just in love with it. I'm in love with it. But yeah, the sound effects are amazing. The scope is out of control. I mean, dude, when you open up onto that beach, that place looks so big. I don't know how they did that. How did they make it look so much bigger than all the other maps when everything's the same goddamn size? It's just true miracle work, man. I mean, really think about it. The devs are creating a world here, and they're just kind of giving it to us. It's like, what is that? That's like the grandest charity I've ever imagined.
You're absolutely right. It's every time they release a new map, I have the initial thought of, holy shit, this is beautiful. Like this, oh my god. Like when I got off the boat, I was the US team on Omaha for the first match myself, and I was just looking up at that hill like, this is going to be a bitch. It's going to be really hard to get to the top of that hill.
For real.
Well, man, I hear you. They also, in addition to that, I've never played a map yet where I've thought, did they make the map bigger? Like it feels like I'm running slower. Like the thing is massive, but it's all the same size. Like you're saying, they just do a phenomenal job. Well, thanks to
Yeah, I don't,
you.
I don't, I don't know what kind of person you have to be to see like that, or to envision something like that. My wife tells me she kind of gets really into these board games or something. She just likes how, like, I don't even know how to describe. She could describe it better. It's basically, she is fascinated by the kind of mind that can do this. And I tell her, I'm like,
Right.
well, you don't really understand my gaming thing, but this is what I like about it too. but I have the visual part of it. So I see not only the world, the puzzle that these guys build for us, and the maze of mechanics that they set up for us to run through like rats, but they're also giving us the visual world, and then they're doing it at a level that is just, really, I don't know. I don't think this is comparable to anything else now. I think they have really set a new standard. So
We really can't, praise the efforts and skill level of the Black Matter team enough. Absolutely.
yeah, and you know what? I think guys, like, some of us out there, we like to gig things, but you know what? I think we've really got to take our hats off here to this. And I had a no noise weekend going on for the devs. I was like, no noise all weekend. They deserve every bit of love we can show them. So join me in that. Really, I mean, sometimes we have to, we have to be humble. I mean, really, we
You,
have to be
you
humble.
mentioned you were big on World War II and watching a lot of the documentaries about that. Is there any historical accuracies that are notable to you?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, my favorite, of course, is the squad setup. Basically, the squads are set up according to how the U.S. set up their squads, which is a real squad, a real authentic squad is actually a 12-man team, but it's broken down into two groups of six. In both groups, you have a squad leader and you have five guys, basically. You have an assistant squad leader and you have the head guy. And so we got that here. The only deviation, which I call basically just, a general historical deviation, is that the Germans are set up the same way. But, you have to do that. And the reason why you have to do that is because we are 50 on 50. If you had 100 on 100, I suppose you could probably go with the original German setup of 9 riflemen and or excuse me, 8 riflemen, 1 MG, and then a squad leader, because they had 10 guys in their formation. And maybe the future has that. I mean, technology is changing all the time, and maybe we'll get one of these crazy overnight updates where it's like suddenly the whole game has changed. But yeah, that's a historical accuracy right there. The only thing that we're not doing, we're not holding up our end of the bargain. I mean, we should be forming up in something I call the power squad, which is basically you and a buddy, right? Because it's always going to take a team. It's always going to take a friend. But you and a buddy, you don't join the same squad. You spread out across the leadership. You join Able, your buddy joins Bravo, and you guys work at that level. If you're that good, then come in as buddy pairs as in the leadership positions, and then you'll be able to better lead by example when these new guys fill your squad. But that is a power squad, and in reality, it's really just an authentic squad. So one of you takes charge, the other one takes the assistant role, and then you just roll with it. That's playing Hell Let Loose about as authentically as you can, other than adopting real World War II tactics, which I'm going to be talking about in some of these tutorials down the road. So
You know what? I had no idea. That's unbelievable, man. I always wondered, like, who decided there should be 6 people in the squad, you know? And
right, that's just a developer bias, but it actually makes a lot of sense, because I think I didn't mean to cut you off, but the 10-man squads would have been really hard at 50 people. It
oh,
really would have been. It might even be impractical. So
I don't
it
know.
was a great choice.
I mean, I'm just saying I'm appreciative that you have the knowledge to share that they're so good with the realistic, comparisons, building the maps off of screenshots and satellite images, matching everything to be as immersive and accurate as possible, that the 6-man squads are a part of that as well. That's not just some idea.
Yeah, it really is. Something else that I really kind of dig as far as the authenticity, which it kind of works against us because of just the technology that's invested in our monitors, is that some of the ranges on these weapons they're accurate, man. I mean, dude, I was a marksmanship trainer when I was in the military, and when you're shooting at small targets, it's what we call miss small, where you'll have a 200-meter target, which is just a paper target in we had virtual simulators that we were using for training. But if you miss that target, I mean, you miss it relative to the size of the target on the paper. So you might miss it by a lot, but if you were to go down there and measure how much you missed it by, you're talking a centimeter, okay? Well, in this game, we're operating at scale. And what I mean by that is that you are pretty much seeing what you would see on a paper target. And so when you think in terms of distances, you're looking at a 100-meter target, looks really small. But guess what? In the real world, that is a small target. So when you aim small, you miss small. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is because of our monitors, we actually can only really engage targets at a visible effective range. So the max visible effective range for any target, and I'm talking max, man. I'm talking you have to have a good monitor, or like me, you have to have a monitor the size of a wall. You have to, the max visible range is about 200 meters. So after that, you're really just kind of shooting to shoot. But the authenticity component that I like is the fact that you can hit and kill that target at that distance. Takes a surgical hand, but it can be done. But most of our targets are 100 meters, and that's the game. But I just want to mention this about the Omaha map. The Omaha map is probably the first 200-meter map. That's where you really are engaging targets at about 200 meters for most of your combat. The other maps, you'll notice you're limited by fog or you're limited by terrain, but for the most part, you're actually all kind of boxed into about 100 and 125 meters, I'd say. But one of the authenticity components that I was talking about is, you ever just die randomly? Like I was literally in spawn one day, and I just dropped, and I'm like, well, what the hell just happened? I'm like, it's a bug, it's a glitch, it's a whatever. It's not. It's an errant round from halfway across the map, because these weapons are on point with their ranges. So, that thing's going to cut through a bush or just skip across the open, and it's going to clip you, and you're not going to hear the shot, because guess what? That's real life.
And that's actually interesting to know. You do so much research to figure out what the game is like right now in the current state, and then are able to compare it to the stuff that they are releasing and are about to release. So to know that the current view distance, or I guess the combat distance, is 200 meters as of this release yesterday, or the day before rather, is pretty awesome. And you can freaking see it when you get off those U-boats. They're U-boats, right? That's the name of them.
Yeah, and actually, I was just watching your Twitch feed too, and you can see it there. I mean, you're up on the hill and you're firing away, but you're really pretty much looking at 200 plus meter targets, or within the 200, 175 range or so, to get those guys on the beach. And so this is really pushing us as players to get outside that 100, 125 meter box and start working on our skills. And so, in honor of that, I decided to change things up over at the HLL training camp. The very first tutorial coming out is going to be a basic marksmanship tutorial. And in that tutorial, I'm going to have something called the button, and I am not going to spoil that for you guys, but let's just say one shot, one kill. So that's something I found that is really going to be kind of cool. But dude, let me tell you something. This game has come a long way since June.
Got it. Oh, I was just corrected in the chat. They are landing crafts. I guess
landing crafts. I didn't know the name either.
U-boats are submarines.
Got it.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens when you have Marines and the Navy and the Army, actual members serving. You're going to get the accuracy right there. But that's awesome.
I'm actually all about that. I'm actually all about being wrong, because sometimes it's really serviceable, man. Like I tell some guys, they're like, I have no idea what's going on the roadmap, and I have not been to the Hell Let Loose to see any of the bulletins or anything that they have. And the reason why is because I like asking you guys what the hell's going on, because I've got my own things to do and I can't keep up on everything, and this is a team thing, so welcome to the team, man.
Yep, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Speaking of the roadmap, they have the roadmap kind of laid out in update 3. I'll put a link to it in the chat and below this video. Update 3 is officially out with a new map, the new game mode, which is the offensive game mode. They're working on tons of animation overhaul, visual improvements, and sound effects. Now, everything that Black Matter has released, as far as them, saying we're going to work on this, has come out. So one thing I know they're very adamant about is coming through on what they say they're going to deliver. So check out that roadmap, guys, and let me know your thoughts. Some of the things that we have to look forward to in the upcoming updates: new maps, transport vehicles, continued sound effects improvements, gun and ballistics overhauls, role overhauls, new weapons. They're bringing out the flamethrower. overhauled map marking.
My God, I'm so excited.
It just goes on and on. They're going to have server queuing. They're going to have first person and third person animation systems. So it's just going to continue to get better. And thank God we have people like you, God-send, to highlight all of these updates in incredible detail.
Hey man, you know what? I'm just happy to be a part of this. Look, guys, I came into this thing. I was kind of a loner. I mean, I had Battlefield. I don't want to. I hate to gig these other games, but man, the COD mentality and the Battlefield mentality really kind of changes you. Their squad setup is it's just different, and their gameplay is just different, and they're just so big. It's like going to McDonald's, But this is something different. And when I landed here, I was kind of doing my own thing for a long time. I mean, really, I was just living in my room, but this has opened up a world for me. And, you kind of got to open yourself up to that. And if you're open to that, you're going to make connections. I mean, dude, I went from 0 to like 100 miles an hour in like just a few weeks as soon as I started making friends. And now I got all these people around me and everybody willing to do everything. And, I could say boo and everybody's going to jump. It's just, this is really
Absolutely.
something different. And I want to support it because I love the way it feels when I'm connecting with people. And just, I just want to put that out there, to be open to the friendships that you can make here, because this might just be the best online gaming community in the world. It just has to get there, and it's going to need you to do that.
Absolutely right. I would just like to understand where you've seen the improvements from day one to today. Somebody who's done so much research, created so much content, what specifically can you note that has been, improved from the beginning to right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the best to lead it all off. I mean, let's just talk trenchy, okay? When I first got into the game, I don't know, things looked a little flat. It was almost like the contrast was kind of turned down a little bit, so I wasn't really getting that big contrast, the deep look that you get when the contrast is kind of up and you get that real world feel, like the immersion is really there. I had seen some of the original videos and I thought it was there. And there was actually a time where I was like, wow, man, what they had before was great. So maybe they like slimmed down the graphics to make it easier to play so we could all test this thing out a little bit better somehow. I don't know, but that's me just jumping to conclusions to try to make sense of what I'm seeing. But trenchy, right? The sounds were a little trenchy. Like when you ran, it just sounded like noise. And when you were in a trench, you couldn't get out of the trench. That was a big problem. I used to send comments up to the devs, and I would admit sometimes not nice ones, but since I have changed my tone, I'll tell you what. But I would be in a 1 foot ditch and I couldn't get out. But you know what? This was a work in progress, and I guess I really never appreciated that. But they fixed it, and then there was another thing where you couldn't get out so well. You couldn't vault out, I guess they call it. But then they fixed that, and then next thing you know, I got less and less to complain about, and I'm having more and more fun. And then all of a sudden, they start, the visual cues improve, and I don't know, the game got to a point where it started to carry me along, and I started to notice less things. And now, when I joined the map, like when I first joined Omaha, I was literally standing there looking around, and I wasn't helping my team because I was just blown away by what I was looking at. And so for me though, I'm an aesthetic guy, okay? And yes, I like mechanics and I like testing, but that's just some weird part of my brain that has to just, be fed. But I'm an aesthetic guy from top to bottom. I like the way something looks to me. It's just, beauty is everything. And if I had to say, the thing that really is impressed me the most, and the thing that has come the farthest and is really one of the things that keeps me in the game, it is the way this thing looks. It's I just don't even know what to say. It's the Matrix, and that actually it brings up something funny for me. It's like that line in the Matrix. You ever just stopped and looked at it? Its beauty, its genius. I mean, there is genius here. Has anybody recognized it? And I think if you want to say what has come the furthest, it's the communication of that genius. I mean, the game and the mechanics, that's one thing, and there'll always be some give and take there, and there'll always be things you don't like and things you do and things you appreciate and things you can't. But are we all picking up on that big giant brain over there at Black Matter and Team 17? I really hope so, because I'm starting to see it now glaring.
Yeah, just to recap, the visual improvements and the assets have been awesome. The sound quality tweaks, incredible. The quality of life improvements for vaulting and the functionality that they brought in has been just unbelievable. Thank God, right? Like, and then on top of that, they've also created a couple of different things such as the heavy tank. They also, which is just a beast. The heavy tank, the Tiger tank for the Germans is
Yeah,
not
and then those
something.
little fast movers there, the Stewart, and
Yep.
but then there's the
Mhm.
progression system and the points. I
Yep.
mean, really, these are stickers. These are real sticking points for people.
Yes.
The fact that you can actually modify your character too are huge, and
Mhm.
that's just going to go all the way. I mean, they're gonna there's just so much room to breathe when it comes to creativity, as far as like what we can do with our in-game character, as far as leveling up and the progression system. I mean, I have seen already a massive improvement just to the general base of people who are just sticking around. I mean, they're playing it and they can't get enough. And that, you know what? I think the delivery was just perfectly timed.
Right. Not to mention the nodes, the whole resource
Oh, the nodes
farming
blew me
system.
away.
It went
Right?
from
Yeah.
1,000 resources when the games came out to 500, and then they introduced nodes. And I actually replied, I don't know that this is a great idea, but I'm going to trust you guys on their Steam post. So I'm going to trust that you guys have thought it, and of course, we're going to try it out. So I know it would be adjusted if it wasn't right. Turns out they were
Right.
spot on, and it's
Well, I'll tell you,
perfect.
that is one place where you and I will disagree a little bit, because I am an asset management guy. As far as I'm concerned, if you can make the game harder, do it. But I do understand that there are pitfalls to that. A lot of guys were complaining that, hey, we just don't have the resources, and commanders would blow the resources to get that quick win, and then they would leave, and we'd be left with nothing.
Right.
Um, when they added the ability to build resource nodes, they took away from that asset management component that I enjoyed so much. But I'm just one guy who likes something stupid. So, I'm cool with that. It's nice to see the nodes, because it is kind of nice, in the clutch moment, to be able to say, hey guys, we need nodes so we can build this game back up and turn it around. In
Yeah.
fact, it actually got to a point where I ended up liking the nodes so much that, like, I would only join a game if the resources were blown. So I would only jump in the commander's spot if there was nothing there, because
Ooh.
I wanted the game to be hard. And dude, there were times where we turned games around where we had our backs against the seawall. And to be frank, that was the thing that really started that really got my reputation going, because I jumped into a game with a bunch of honest to God veterans, and they were like, yeah, dude, we were talking in a side channel on Discord, and we just couldn't believe what you did, because, dude, we had a guy on artillery, right? Just some rogue wacko who jumped on artillery, and he started firing away what little precious resources we had left. So I ran out to him. I jumped in the commander slot, ran out to him. I was like, dude, you gotta quit this shit. And but he was actually a TKer. So I jumped in the horn. I said, look, man, we got to stop that guy. So do that. I'm going to take care of this. We started dropping nodes. We started building things. We started organizing a real plan. He wouldn't stop firing, so they had to wax him, unfortunately. But I gave the command, so it was all on me. But we ended up turning that game around with 12 minutes left, and we rolled them sons of bitches. And it was the greatest game I think any of us ever played, because, one of the real cool things about Hell Let Loose is you can have a shitstorm of a loss, but it can still be the best game you've ever played. It's the level of intensity, it's the level of teamwork. And if you bring both of those, if you bring your very best game and the real willingness to just, be a team player, it doesn't even matter if you lose. But the thing is, the game is almost never lost. There is a chance, and I think that is one of the things that really blows me away about this game. It's one of the things that blows me away about this franchise, and it's one of the things that keeps my eye on the future, because I don't know, what are there supposed to be, like 14 or 15 maps? I'm in this for the long haul. I'm going all the way to 14, baby. And on top of that, I want to go beyond. I want to see what these guys produce later on, because if we all support them, if we give them everything we got, guess what's going to happen? We're going to inspire them to do more. I mean, aren't you more inspired when someone says, "Hey, buddy, that's fantastic." Fuck all the, oops, excuse me. Screw all the negative, man. I want your love,
Yeah.
and you know what? They want our love too, because there's nothing more motivated, nothing more gelling as a community than a positive. And so
Morale?
I'm making that my
What's
number one
that?
rule. I'm making that my number one rule in the training, the HLO training camp. That's it. It's positivity or you're out, man. And I don't mean out, you know, I just mean that's all we want, because that's the only thing that's really valuable. It's
Right
the
on,
only
brother.
thing that's worth it. And what the hell are we here for? Everything else is a waste of time.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, my man. Look, GOD-sSs-END, that's why we're big supporters of you. I just want to give you a moment to close it out with some exciting things that you have going on and anything that we need to know about. Wrap it up with a closing statement and a couple of bullet points.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm sorry about that, dude. Once I get going, man, I just kind of go. So
Don't
you just
apologize
got to
at
put a
all.
bullet in my head and get me the hell out of here.
No.
Yeah, I'm just doing actually, I'm going to be focusing pretty hard just on the tutorials. And I know I have the strong points thing that I was doing. You know, I'm just kind of like testing. I'm constantly testing, you know, and I'm constantly creating. So I'm always coming up with different ideas. But honestly, Chuck, I have had the best time on these interviews, and I would really like to leave any Twitch or Twitch-like stuff to you, man, because this is your thing, and you just blew me away. I want to focus on the tutorials, man. And I think that's really where I belong. I mean, we're all really finding our footing here, but that's it for me. I am digging this the team training camp thing, and it's just I just started it. It just feels right for me, and you know I'm always learning something about myself. But I think that you know I found a home there, and the guys are great, and the organization that we have there is amazing. You know, I've got recruiters from the other teams, and everybody's so cooperative and helpful. I think that's just where I belong. So yeah, I'm tutorial guy now, and I'm gonna go all the way with it. And believe me, you can count on me. Every single tutorial, it may start off simple and it may have some basics in there or some fundamentals, but I am gonna drop some advanced nuggets in every single one of those so that not only new players get what they need to play this game better and to elevate their experience of Hell Let Loose, but the vets are gonna get something too. And I'm just not gonna let you guys down. There's just no way I'm gonna do that. So thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. This is just awesome all the way around.
Thank you, bro. Well, there you have it, guys. You just heard GOD-sSs-END. He is one of the Hell Let Loose content creators, and he is currently, as he said, creating boot camps for new and experienced players to step their game up. The YouTube channel that he's posting all these videos on is going to be linked in the description along with in the chat right now. Make sure you go by, hit that subscribe button. I assure you, you will not be disappointed. GOD-sSs-END is the man, and Team Dix has his back. Thank you so much again, GOD-sSs-END, and that's it for now. We'll see you on the next video.